Well, hello everyone. You have right here of talking about paying bills right here, doing the math right here, and a lot of times it sure seems that way. That whenever you do look at these digits right here, it seems that way toward it. Why do you think that this number right here, yeah, 500 right here? Why do you think that this right number right here would be bigger than compared to this number right here? And a lot of times you 102 is toward if you would actually work the calculator, and 102 is toward if you're going to be reading any sorts of digits, and let's just say that you don't read the two zeros on the back after the point right there, and so that's why it seems that way that whenever you're going to be doing the math right here, and 102 to 500 times the 20%. So how much would that be or so? And so every time you do think about that, then you always want to know too that, really, what does that really mean right there when we do talk about if it's a multiply or subtraction or division or something like that of the 20%. So it's like, so if we're talking about working with money, working with digits right here, that how many of us would even know and maybe think that is toward that this right here is supposed to be a reading of 1578 right here. But how many of us would maybe even think that so if you moved a period right over here, then it would be $15.78 right here. And so it's like, so every time you would look at that right there, look at that at a point of perspective, and you would maybe think is this toward that this right here looks like that it would be for 1578 right here, but what you got right here is with the, I guess you say if it'll be a decimal point or something like that about right here, but still different ways of how you want to solve the math facts right here. And so that's why it seems that way that that every time you think about doing the math right here, and your 102 is toward that when we talk about working the math right here, does that mean that you would want to maybe move the block right here or something like that? And like I say, the readings are at about right here, and a lot of times everybody when you 102 you if you were to actually do the math right here, but still that but if I were to add right here to where that doing the math right here, that 500 times 20%, it will be 1578 right here. But if you were to pick if you were to actually take care of a bill, and let's just say that if you were to start out with the amount right here, and let's just say that something like how much are we talking about? $65. And how many of us would maybe even say that $65 would be the amount that maybe in case if we're all wondering too that when we do think about the math a lot of times, and 102 so if you were to actually round these digits up right here in 102, so if you were to make this into like a math problem, do you think that everybody else would maybe even say is this toward I'll go ahead and work this math problem until those digits start getting smaller. Until they start getting smaller. So you have right here for 500 right here, and then the 20% right here. But let's just say that if you were to make another small word problem right here, let's just say for $14 right here. Everybody would maybe even think is toward if you're going to be paying a bill, by the way, that I'm like, I would like to know too that if you're going to be paying a bill, by the way, that that you 102, that do you think anybody would maybe agree that I don't mind paying the bill if it says $15 right there on the front part of the ticket right there? I think everybody would maybe even agree that that $14 is not too much to ask for whenever it comes to taking care of a bill. I can maybe make that even bigger right there, $14. $14 is really not too much to ask for than compared to 500. And I think anybody here would maybe even agree that, $14 is not too much to ask for than compared to other amounts that you've been asked for before in the past, right? And like everybody might even say too that if you were to actually do the math right here, that if you were to pick a value of how much that you agreed to pay whenever it comes to taking care of a bill, don't we all maybe think that oh yeah, I'm thinking maybe everybody would maybe agree that they would say that, oh yeah, I'll pay the bill if it says $14 on it, but I'm not paying the bill if it says $1,578. I'm not paying the bill if it says $500 right there, but I'll pay the bill if it says $14 right there. So everybody would maybe want to know too that if you were to pick a favorite number out of the whole category, then maybe would it be $14 right there whenever it comes to paying your bills. And so if you were to actually do the math right here, and you always want to know too that yeah, more. Are you paying more or less than compared to last month? And so if you were to actually put that to the test right here, if you were to actually look at your bill, that you're wondering to where, okay, are you paying more this time, or are you paying less? Are you paying less than compared to last time? And everybody might even say that whenever you look at your bills, by the way, from the past 4 months, that it seems that way, that, yeah, you are paying more, but still, that, you look at, if you actually do the math right here in 102, that you were working with a bill, and let's just say the original cost was $500, but then if you were to actually round up the math right here and do the subtraction or addition or so, and so it's like, yeah, that so a lot of times it's like that the main reason why you would want to do the math right is because if it's more or for the less right here. So I'll go ahead and put, yeah, more for more and less is more, but I'll go ahead and put it right here up on the top right here, that most of the time that if you are going to be doing the math right here, that you maybe want to know too that that's the point. That's the point about doing the math, right? That's the point, that you're trying to find out if it's less or if it's more than compared to what you were paying before, right? And anybody that may want to know too that whenever you do think about less right here, that you go ahead and look at how you were working the math right here, and you'll want to know too that, yeah, this is how much the bill was at the beginning, and then for what you agreed to pay and everything. But do we all maybe think as toward that that every month whenever you think about your bills, that you think is as toward it, okay, yeah, if it's $65, then you don't think that that's really fair than compared to the $14. Everybody would maybe even say too that if you're going to be paying a bill month to month, even if it's a mortgage payment, that maybe everybody would maybe say is toward it $65 is too much to be paying than compared to just the $14 alone. And in case if anybody's want to know too, they can maybe even ask me too that when was the last time that your bill was only $14? And unless if you have a credit or whichever, or if it's a coupon or something like that that applies, that you're not going to have that only says $14 on there. So whenever you actually were to do the math right here, and let's just say that whenever you do look at your bills a lot of times, that you see it kind of climbing up and down like that, but I'll tell everybody that most of my bills have been $65 or above, but the only time it's really going to be $14 even, if anything, if there's maybe going to be a credit or a coupon that applies to the account or something like that. So in case of anybody's want to know too, that yeah, if your bill does only show $14 on there, do you think on average is this toward it? Yeah, that it would only be that much, maybe because that there was credits or something that applied. But every time you think about $14, and people might say is this toward it? Yeah, well, $14 is not too much to ask for. But whenever it comes to to this 1578 right here, and so yeah, so if you were to actually do the math right here in 102, that how expensive is what is like how expensive is too expensive whenever it comes to taking care of your bills. That the highest it's been, yeah, people might even say that maybe the highest it's been, has been right around $100 or something like that. But still, whenever you do think about your bills, though, that has anybody thought about that to where that hey, that whenever you do look at your bills, by the way, that you calculate that to where that less or for the more right here, and that you think is toward okay, yeah, $500 right here, but then whenever you add it all up and then do the math right here, but still, how many of us would maybe even say is toward that this number right here looks to be bigger than compared to the one in the middle? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that this number right here seems to be bigger than compared to this number right here? And I think everybody would say is this toward that for one, it's a bigger size. I mean, I can change the size right here to a bigger size right here, but still, everybody would say that, I can tell the difference because there is no zeros behind here. I can go and fix that too. There's zeros now. Yeah, this number right here, yeah, it's still bigger. It's still bigger than the one in the middle. But, well, it's smaller, but, there. So yeah, so every time you think about that, but really, if you were to actually look at these really closely right here, that why is it that this number right here looks to be bigger than compared to the one in the middle? And everybody might say that, yeah, well, first of all, that whenever you first look at the bill, that the one of the reasons why that you may think that it looks bigger just because that you saw it first. Yeah. This number right here is the first number that you saw whenever you did first look at the bill. Whenever you first found out, whenever you first discovered the math, the facts, the basic facts about the math, right? That's the first thing that you saw right there was that you saw the bill right there in your 102. Okay, yeah, you got right there is more. Try to get that in right there, but still. But everybody may want to know too that yeah, like, and every time you do think about that, and you're 102, that yeah, if you were actually worth the math right here, and at 102, that why is it that number right there looks to be bigger, and compared to one in the middle? But in case if anybody's 102, that yeah, one of those reasons is probably because is that yeah, it's that was one of the first numbers that you came up with before you started working the math. But on the other hand too, that whenever you do think about it, that you're 102, that you were to actually work the math, and you're thinking as toward okay, yeah, I get the idea by now about how much is more and how much is less whenever it comes to taking care of the bills, right?